Lenny Tuesday here at Muscle in the Morning, and I'm Dave Palumbo, and today is October 16th, 2018. And let's find out what's going on in the world of bodybuilding and fitness. When I was growing up in New York, I remember I had a friend whose grandma would tell people they were acting Hollywood, like it was some kind of insult. But if acting Hollywood means I can look and feel as good as Darren Hollywood Glenn does right now, then please, by all means, sign me up. We've seen a few update photos of the 212 vet trickle out over the last week or so that show him holding onto some of the best off-season conditioning that I've seen him have in his entire career. To his credit, Glenn seems like he's really figured out what does and doesn't work for his body over these last few years, and the results have spoken volumes when he's been up there on that stage. So as long as he keeps plugging away like this, I can certainly see him starting to snag a few top fives in the right lineup at some point next season. They say an average gorilla is somewhere in the neighborhood of being 6 times stronger than a regular human. But when I see stuff like this, it makes me think that Texas big man Joe Mackey might actually be 6 times stronger than your average gorilla. Over the weekend, we saw the Mackey camp put out new leg training video that shows him cranking out squats for reps with an unreal amount of weight. In the handful of times we've seen him this year, it was obvious that this guy is working with a ton of talent. So once he puts it all together, we'll start to see him shoot up there in the scorecards real fast. If you held a gun to my head and asked me to tell you who the most famous athlete in Brazil is right now, I'd probably go with international soccer star Neymar by default. But somewhere in my mind, a little piece of me would be dying to say that it was men's physique superstar Felipe Franco. Sometime late on Saturday, cameras caught the 3-time Olympian doing what he does best to the tune of a little PM arm action, where it looks like he's probably still lean enough to be within striking distance of another contest or two this season. Franco is one of those guys who can sneak up on you at some of these smaller shows, like he did earlier with his win at the LA Grand Prix. And considering that there's still some prime cuts sitting out there on the back end of the league schedule, I don't think it's out of the question that we'd see him pop up one more time before 2018 is all said and done. Back in the day, I remember hearing rumors about some of the old school legends like Larry Scott and Steve Reeves doing overhead presses with 405 pounds for reps, way before there were any keyboard experts around telling people about what was the alleged best way to train. But for one reason or another, I get the feeling that brand new classic physique pro Lawrence Ballinger doesn't pay a whole lot of attention to what the so-called experts are saying either. Last week, some new training video popped up of the North American champ knocking out a few sets of some heavy overhead presses as his upgrade season continues to keep rolling along. Ballinger's a guy who's got one of those super slick, old school caddy looking physiques when he puts it all together. So if he can bring up a few key areas, he's someone who has the potential to make some noise at some point next season. When I have the chance to sit down and talk to people at some of my seminars, I try to tell them that success and progress aren't necessarily about the one big thing you're not doing or the one big break that still can come your way. The truth is that success at anything we do in life is really about the millions of little things you do in between your big break that actually matter. Case in point, 2018 Women's Physique Olympia champ Shanique Grant. Despite the fact that she had potentially 2 Olympia titles stripped from her in the last 2 seasons because of freak accidents during her prep, she never let that stuff distract her from doing the little things on a day-to-day basis that lead to the big moment that highlights her season now. So when you really break it down, yes, she's got the talent, yes, she's caught a few good breaks along the way, but the reason she's at where she's at is because she always paid attention to the millions of little things that mattered and not the one big thing that didn't. There's your inspirational pep talk for the day. Now go out there and make something happen. And that does it for yet another edition of Muscle in the Morning. I'm Dave Palumbo reminding you to always be true to your passions. And make sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.